Hi, I'm Jocelyn Mercado, and I want to welcome you to the Women with a Vision webinar. Let me share my screen here so you can see our title. So we are offering visionary wisdom from 6 leaders of the sacred feminine revolution. And I will be your host today. And I want to also welcome Simone Wright, Taria Ward, Rachel at Aeolian Heart, and Christine Hassler. And also Tanishka. Tanishka is here on the left. She is in Australia, so her time zone is the exact opposite of us here in the US, pretty much, and we didn't want to make her get up in the middle of the night to do her presentation. So she has offered a beautiful video, which I will share with you later on. I want to welcome you into the webinar and invite you to be fully present with us. So just take a deep breath and let everything else go. All of your cares and worries, just let them fall away and take this time to immerse yourself in your sacred feminine power and in the wisdom that we are here to share with you today. I really want to emphasize that I want you to open up and expect amazing insights to come up for you as you listen today, and have a notebook or your journal handy to write down your inspired ideas as they come to you. And I ask you please to silence your phone, turn off other electronic devices, close the door and get comfy and really enjoy and sink into this beautiful webinar that we have created for you. So you are here for a reason. There are no mistakes. And I want to reassure you that you are in the right place if you feel your sacred feminine power strongly within and want to expand it even further. Or if you don't know how to feel your sacred feminine essence and you deeply desire to access this power. You're also in the right place if you know in your heart that we need to break down the systems and structures that are not working in our modern world and build new ones based on love, compassion, peace, and nurturing, the core of the sacred feminine. And you're also in the right place if you want to know how you yourself can contribute to the massive paradigm shift that the world needs right now, as well as if you are longing to discover how you can launch your own unique vision to the world. You may already know, you may already have discovered your life's purpose and know what it is that you're meant to do, but you're stuck somewhere in the process and don't know how to launch it or manifest it. And so we're going to work on that today too. And then finally, you are in the right place if you yearn to use your healing and creative powers to design a brighter future for yourself and for the planet. And I always like to say, for the next 7 generations of life on the earth. So if you feel that calling, you are here in the right place today. So how many people on the webinar feel like you are being personally called to change the world? Please type yes or no in the chat box to share your answer. And wonderful. I see lots and lots of yeses already popping up. That is fantastic. I see a couple no's, and that's fine too. There are different ways that we are all inspired, and I'm sure that you will find inspiration on this call too. But I see so many yeses, and some people saying, yes, I'm already doing that work to change the world. Beautiful, beautiful. We have 7 very exciting bonuses in store for you today. So these are only available if you stay on until the end of the webinar. So I really encourage you to stay on till the end, and you will get to see what they all are. All of our speakers have contributed to make them really amazing. And also near the end of the webinar, I'll be sharing more about this, but we are going to offer to you an amazing opportunity to attend a one-of-a-kind women's retreat in May 2017. And this retreat will feature workshops from all of the presenters that you see on this webinar today. So it's going to be really exciting, and we'll talk a lot more about that later. But for now, let's get to the topics that we want to cover here today. Here is what you'll learn, and we are covering so many important topics. So from Simone Wright, you will learn about visioneering, intuition, and alchemy as powerful catalysts in your life. I will be talking about harnessing your passion to drive your vision forward. Christine Hassler will talk about creating a heart-based business by accessing your special sauce. Taria Ward will be talking about vision questing and the dream time. Rachel will share about astrology and tarot for wisdom and insights. And Tanishka will share about activating the power of the sacred feminine to create the life of your dreams. Now, I want to share this beautiful quote with all of you, and some may already be familiar with this. This is from Clarissa Pinkola Esté's book called Women Who Run with the Wolves. If you have not read this book yet, run out and buy it right now or as soon as the webinar is over. This is an incredible book that will undoubtedly give you just incredible insights about your life. So this quote says, "How does the wild woman affect women? With her as ally, as leader, model, teacher, we see not through two eyes, but through the eyes of intuition, which is many-eyed. When we assert intuition, we are therefore like the starry night. We gaze at the world through 1,000 eyes." And this quote is very deeply meaningful to me, and I'm going to share a little more about that in just a minute. So I want to introduce myself in case, for any of those who might not already know about my work. I am a transformational life coach, author, and holistic health consultant. I have been studying indigenous wisdom, shamanic practices, and earth-based healing methods for over 7 years. And in my coaching practice, I bring a really unique right brain, left brain balanced approach because I combine my over 15 years experience in finance and project management with powerful spiritual, intuitive, and indigenous teachings to help my clients discover their life's purpose and then create a financially sustainable business based on that purpose, doing what they love. So let me stop sharing my PowerPoint and focus in on what I want to share with you today. So my journey was a long one for me to get to this point of knowing what I am meant to do. And I just want to talk about that a little bit because going back to the quote from Dr. Estes related to intuition, I, for many, many, many years, for most of my life up until my early 30s, did not feel my intuition. I could not connect with it. I didn't know who I really was or what I was really meant to do by any means. And so the reason for this is that I suffered from anxiety and depression ever since, a little kid, ever since I can remember. And from the time I was 16 years old until I was 32, I was on different antidepressants, to kind of numb me and make me so that I wouldn't feel anything. And those things really work. They make you so that you don't feel. So, it protects you from not sinking into the lowest lows, but it also prevents you from feeling the highs and the elation that is a normal part of life. And especially as a woman of, the natural cycles of emotions that we go through. So I was, very disconnected from my true self and from my intuition without even really realizing that. So then when I became pregnant with my first child was when my inner sacred feminine got awakened. And the reason is that I had to go off the meds. I couldn't be pregnant with her and still be on those meds. It would be dangerous for her. So I had to. And while I was pregnant, I guess, those happy hormones kind of helped out and I felt all right. But then once she was born, I sank into a really, really deep, dark postpartum depression. And I loved my little baby so much, and I didn't understand why I was feeling so sad and so down and hopeless about things. And so I made up my mind that for her sake and for my sake, I was going to find a way to be okay. And I was not going to ever go back on the meds, and I was going to find a way to feel my feelings and still be okay. But I had no idea how I was going to do that because I was in a really dark place at that time. So I have always liked to read, and at that point I just started reading everything that I could get my hands on. I read about all the different religions of the world, all different aspects of spirituality and, philosophies on why we're here and what we're supposed to be doing while we're here and everything. And so read about that for some years. And eventually what started to become clear to me was that I was very, very drawn to and inspired by nature-based spirituality, indigenous wisdom, and eventually, as it evolved a little more, shamanic practices. And those are now, for me, where I gain my inspiration and my deepest insights, and where I am able to connect with my intuition in the most profound ways and receive, the messages that I know that I need to lead me on my path. So with all that said, I really wanted to share with you my personal journey And I know that, you know, we all have these amazing stories of what we've been through and what we've overcome. That was the way that the sacred feminine acted for me in my life and changed my life, and helped me to become aware of who I truly am, and to actually get in touch with my inner wild woman who I never even knew was there. And it's so important for us to use these experiences in our life, and understand that when we are given challenges, it's because it is pointing us toward our truest purpose. These challenges that we have, you know, for example, what I went through with depression and anxiety, help us to know how we can then heal ourselves and go on to heal other people. So I really encourage you to look at what are the shadows in your life. If you haven't done so yet, go into your shadow and find out what you need to learn and how you can move forward, because that is going to take you, you know, we need to go through the shadow in order to get to the fullest of the light in our lives. So I encourage you to do that inner work, and to find out what you are meant to do and how you are meant to heal others by using that as a guide. Also want to mention with all that, that whole story is what led me to want to create this event, to bring together these beautiful and amazing women, so that we can share our wisdom with you and inspire you to go out and discover your own life's purpose, and to bring your mission and your vision out to the world. So lots more on that to come. Let me introduce our next speaker. Simone Wright is coming up next, and she is an evolutionary mind coach for elite performers and visionary leaders. She is also an award-winning artist, and she is the author of the amazing book, First Intelligence, Using the Science and Spirit of Intuition. Welcome, Simone. So excited to have you here with us today.
What I speak about is visioneering, and the beauty of being able to call our visions forward, the things that have great meaning and purpose and passion, and pull and even push, the things that push us and pull us, for that clear vision, to be able to bring them into being. And I am sort of an authority on quantum creativity, on intuition. As Jocelyn said, I'm an artist and a painter and a teacher, and sort of a bit of a Renaissance woman. But what I encourage everybody on the call to do, especially as it relates to the times that we're in right now, where the energy is so heightened, to take advantage of what we're all feeling right now and use it as a catalyst to expand you, to open you, to pull you even more further open. You know, a lot of people, whatever side of the fence that they lie on, are collapsing and really constricting. And what our visions ask us to do as midwives, literally as women who are birthing a new paradigm, just think of what the process is of birthing. You have to open, you have to expand in the face of real pressure and pain and discomfort of massive proportion. If you don't open and expand, things get limited. So I encourage everybody on the call, regardless of what your sort of political leanings are, or what you think might be happening here, is to expand into it and to breathe into it and allow yourself to open. And that way your vision for the future is going to continue to be propelled forward. It's not going to be cut off. It's not going to be kinked like a hose. Because if you start to contract into fear and anger and bitterness and rage and us against them, then that hose of birth gets shut down. So that's kind of the first thing I wanted to really be able to invite everybody on the call to do. Because as midwives, we need to be wide open for this energy to move. And it doesn't really, and so the beauty of this position that we're in right now is it's lighting a fire under a lot of people and inside a lot of people. So I'm kind of excited about it from my perspective. But the idea of visioneering, and what I want everybody on the call to sort of grasp, is your vision, the dream you have for the future, is already complete in the frame of all possibility. Just like a baby when it's born, all of the potential for it to be a born human being already exists. What we need to do as visionary women is make it welcome. If we hold the vision of the earth, the mother, being healed and whole and perfect, and that we're a conduit through which that perfection emerges, then we'll be able to do this healing process more elegantly. So I encourage all of you to hold a clear vision and know that in the scheme of the grand mind of all consciousness, it's already done. It's already done. We are simply birthing it and making it welcome. And so your inspiration, the thing that you're inspired to do, your vision is complete. And you just need to be able to be the conduit through which that moves through you. And so your inspiration is there. That's the thing that lights you up. That's your inspired vision. But then you need to claim it. That's intention. And I have 6 eyes in this process that I want you all to grab. And I'm going to blow through this really quickly because I know our time is limited. But intention is the power of fire. So inspiration is air, it's spirit, it's that thing that gets you all fuzzy on the inside. But intention is fire, and that's where we are right now. We are smack in the middle of fire. And that's when you say yes to your vision. I'm doing it. I'm going for it. I'm being a part of the transformation. I'm not going to hang out in the anger and the fear. I'm moving forward. Yes, I'm doing it. And it's the fire of that intention that starts to materialize your visions and starts to push you forward. That's the part that's a lot of people are missing, is the fire. And that's the aspect of the feminine nature, isn't it? It's the fiery aspect that pushes things. Then I want you to sort of look at the idea of intuition, imagination, and innovation. Those are water symbols. Those are the fluid feminine that we need. The intuition comes in as ideas that you might not have never considered before. Innovation are the ideas that you would have never come up with before, but we need new insights. We need new leaders. We need new approaches. That's innovation. And imagination. Hold the grandest vision for what's possible and think to yourself, there are a million ways that this success can happen. There are a million ways, and there are a billion people that can serve as conduits. So the more we open our imagine as opportunities for potential to come through, the more quickly the transformation will happen. And the more you sort of open the door through which that imagination will flow and allow it to have that freedom, that's how we start to really create and materialize change. And then the 6th one is implementation. It's the earth element. It's getting our boots on the ground and taking action, doing the work, and following through with everything that you want, say, you're going to do. And the implementation, the earth element, requires the most courage from us. You know, when our visions come to us, they don't come to us, we're not fully prepared, we're not fully formed, we're not fully ready. Our visions shape us. They ask us to grow, they ask us to expand, they ask us to become more courageous, they ask us to become bigger vessels. So if you have a vision for, whether it's for helping transform and shape and heal the world, or for it's your own vision for business and entrepreneurship or healing or romantic love or financial abundance, realize that that vision is going to call you to really change and grow and become the grandest version of yourself. And that requires some guts. And so the ideas of inspiration, intention, imagination, innovation, intuition, and implementation are sort of the 6 ideas of the visioneering process, so that you can start to bring your visions from spirit and literally birth them into this physical dimension. And so, you know, you'll have a chance to listen to this on the replay. I know we're sort of limited, but I'd like you to make a list of those things and ask yourself those questions. What am I inspired to do? What pushes me or pulls me? Am I willing to say yes with no holds barred, 100% committed to that dream? Most times it's the commitment of saying yes then that activates the clarity then through which intuition and imagination and innovation can flow. And then you need to say to yourself, what do I have to do? How do I have to act? What are the things I need to implement to make this happen? And then you'll start to notice that your vision starts to birth through you. It comes through you. It doesn't come to you. You are the mother of it, just like your babies. So that's how I teach, and that's what I invite everybody to do at this time, is to grab those visions and birth them. Go for it, guys and gals.
Wonderful, Simone. Thank you so much. And yes, I so resonate with that implementation takes so much courage, so much courage and willpower.
It does. I mean, if you break the analogy down to the idea of having a baby, just think of how much will it takes. And I don't have children, but I know many of you guys on the call do. Think of how much will it takes to birth that little critter. that little being out of you. And so just think of that birthing process as what we're going through now. And it requires all of those elements. And all of those elements call us to become greater vessels through which the new paradigms can be born.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing.
You're
your
welcome.
And next, I want to introduce Christine Hassler. Christine is a female entrepreneurial coach and consultant, professional speaker, and Gen Y expert. She supports individuals in discovering the answers to the questions, who am I, what do I want, and how do I get it? Christine is known for catalyzing radical self-reflection while offering practical direction. She is passionate about busting the myth that life is about having it all figured out. Christine believes that we all deserve and we are all capable of discovering our passion, pursuing our dreams, and making an impact on the world. So Christine, welcome to the webinar.
Oh, thanks. I'm enjoying this so much. Thank you everybody for being here. And I'm going to talk a little bit about your secret sauce, because we all have it. And here's one major thing I've learned, and I'm sure a lot of you ladies watching have learned this too, and we're all in this container together and attracted to this kind of conversation because we're really learning how to come from our feminine energy. And I was very, very, very successful coming from my masculine energy. I had a huge job in Hollywood. I was an agent. I was the youngest ever female agent, and I was very successful on the goal line of life. But on the soul line of life, I was completely depleted. I was disconnected. Physically, my hormones were totally thrown off balance. I was suffering from depression. And no matter what achievement, external achievement I could create on the goal line, it didn't matter. It wasn't fulfilling me on the soul line. So I'll keep a very long story short, but basically I had a quarter life crisis at the ripe age of 26 and lost everything. I left my career. I was estranged from my family. I went into thousands and thousands of dollars worth of debt. I got diagnosed with an undiagnosable autoimmune disorder on top of the depression and anxiety that I was medicated for. And then 6 months before my wedding, my fiance dumped me cold turkey. And so it was one of those like bathroom floor moments. Yes, I ended up on my bathroom floor, which I don't know why we go there when we're depressed because they're pretty gross, but that's where I ended up. And I had this big aha moment, and I can say here, like a spiritual awakening, where I had a moment of everything I was looking for on the outside, I felt on the inside, like that compassion and that love and that presence and that truth that I was so hungry for. And it was fleeting because my mind came in and was like, whoa, what was that? This is not normal. You know, we usually feel this way. But it was enough to go, wait a second, that's what I'm after. And so the next insight after that was, okay, so all this stuff has happened to me, but I'm the common denominator in every situation. So maybe I'm more cause than effect. And how can I really ask the question, what am I learning versus why is this happening? And shift the way I orient to this. And that was my pivot point. And that's when everything changed for me. And that's when I really started to heal the issues that had perpetuated me on this path of trying to compensate for massive insecurity and pain by doing things in the world. And I really took a stop and thought, who am I? Like, who am I? And so that's where I want to start with all of you today. If I ask you that question, who am I? How would you answer it? A lot of us answer, well, I'm a mother, I have this job, I'm from this place. We tend to answer it by the roles we play, by these external identities. But that's not who we are. And if you're here in this container, you probably already know that. So I have a way to answer this question that I use with everyone that I work with, because it's so important that we know really truly who we are before we try to answer those questions. What do I want and how do I go and get it? And that really keeps us more in the feminine energy, more in that energy of being connected to our intuition, like Simone said, and in that receptive place, and be able to attract the people and the situations that are in alignment with our essence, rather than going out and making things happen from more of a human doing rather than a human being way. So to answer the question, who am I just want you to think of something that you love doing. Like you just love doing it. Time stops when you do it. You're very, very present. You do it for hours. Maybe it's gardening. Maybe it's painting. Maybe it's being with your children. Maybe it's knitting. Maybe travel is what lights you up. Just think of that thing. Don't overthink it. Just think of the first thing that came in. Good. And then think about and consider what qualities come out of you while you do that thing. Because we get very obsessed with form in our culture, but we need to focus more on essence. So let's say it's playing with your kids. You know, one of my big ones is playing with my nephews. So does that mean that who you are is you love children and you should either have them or start a daycare business or be a teacher? No, not necessarily. The brain likes to put conclusions on things. You want to look more for the essence, the qualities that come out of you while you're doing it. So using the children example, for me, when I'm with my nephews, oh my gosh, I'm compassionate, I'm playful, I'm nurturing, I'm loving, I'm creative. All of those qualities are who I am. And so maybe write it down for a moment, maybe do this as an assignment a little bit later, but start writing down those qualities that express through you when you are at your most present. Because when we are at our most present, that is when we're most tapped in to our unique essence. And I think that there are just way too many opportunities to compare ourselves to everybody else. Does anybody out there ever deal with comparison, jealousy, get on Facebook and think you should be doing more and dating more? It's just like an endless opportunity to compare ourselves to other people and other things. And I hear a lot of people say, well, how do I become more of who I am and stop comparing? Well, when you try to stop comparing and stop comparing and stop comparing, it's sort of like me saying to you, stop thinking of a pink elephant. It's all you can think about, right? Everybody just thought of a pink elephant right now. So how can you use comparison? How can you leverage it? Here's my secret. This isn't the secret sauce yet. I'm almost there. So the secret is comparison is positive projection. Perhaps you've heard of negative projection. You spot it, you got it, like what really bugs you or irritates you about somebody else, like it's actually something you need to look at about yourself. Well, positive projection is anything you see in somebody else that you admire, respect, compare yourself to, or maybe jealous of, is actually reflecting to you unowned qualities about yourself. So let's say I compare myself to Beyonce. Does that mean I have all of a sudden this amazing dance rock star ability? No. If you heard me sing, you'd be like, definitely no. But what I might see in her is confidence, her ability to speak her truth, to be bold, to go after what she wants, to be a powerful feminine woman. And if I'm feeling any envy or I really look up to that, that means I need to see that in myself and see that that's part of who I am and that's part of my essence. So really, I just encourage you all to own who you are, be who you are. Stop comparing yourself to other people. Stop trying to live up to expectations of who you think you should be or who you were told to be, or for the people pleasers out there who you think you need to be to make sure everybody else is okay. And really step into who you are and your essence, because it makes life a whole lot easier, both internally, because it really helps with a high degree of self-acceptance, and externally, because when we are and who we are, way easier to attract the people and opportunities that are in alignment. So that brings me to my formula for discovering your secret sauce, and I'll go through this quickly. And I really teach this to entrepreneurs because I find that a lot of times with building a business, there are so many models out there. There are so many structures to follow. There are so many kind of rules to go by. And we try to follow someone else's model often rather than really following our secret sauce. This is how I've built my business, and it's way, way easier. And from my perspective, this is more the feminine approach to really building your business. So the first thing you need to know about your secret sauce is your essence. Your who am I? And we just went through that. That's the first ingredient. The second ingredient to consider is your unique gifts. You know that thing that's always come easily to you that you've always been complimented for? Like maybe you're an amazing decorator. You can set a great table, like your house looks beautiful, and people come over and they're like, oh my gosh, you have great style. And you're like, oh yeah, I just love this. Okay, that does not come easy to me. That does not come easy to everybody else. Oftentimes those things that come easy to us, we poo-poo because we don't think they're a big deal because they come easy. And one of my favorite things to say is, God puts our gifts closest to us so they're easy to find, but they're the last place we look. Oftentimes we spend way more attention trying to be somebody else or develop gifts that don't come naturally instead of really owning our own. So what are your gifts? What are the things that come naturally to you? Maybe it's the way you are with people. Maybe it's a special talent that you have, but write that down, your gifts. So that's number two. First one is your essence, your who am I. Second one is your gifts. Third, your skills. What are you just naturally really good at? And of course, my phone never rings, but it's ringing right now. I actually still have a landline. Okay, so what are your skills, the things that you've developed over time, the things that you've become good at through different jobs that you've had or different things that you've had to do? You know, what's just your natural skill set? If you were making a resume, what were some of the things be that you'd put down there? And that's number 3. Number 4, your experience. Everything from your work experience to your life experience. So often I coach moms who want to start a new career, get back into the workplace, and they're like, well, I've just been a mom for the past 10 years. And I'm like, please don't put just in front of the word mom. That's like a huge job. And I always say, if I want something done, I give it to a mom, because moms know how to get stuff done. So you don't want to minimize any of your life experiences. Maybe you've been through a divorce. Maybe you've been through cancer. Maybe you've moved 10 times. Look at these life experiences that you've had and the wisdom that you've gained from them, because that's part of your secret sauce too. 2 more things. Your interests. What do you just like to do? A lot of times we just need to give ourselves permission to like what we like and know that our work can be a reflection of that. And then finally, your intuition. We all long for something. And again, we might be able to grasp the essence of it. We might not know the form right away, but follow your intuition, follow your longing. Just one step at a time. You don't have to get obsessed with form. Like, how is this going to look for at the end? If you have a longing of, I want to help people, that longing is part of your intuition. It's part of your secret sauce. So listen to that. So I'll review these really quick, and then I'll just give you one more thing to end with. So your secret sauce, your essence, your who am I, your gifts, the things that come naturally to you, your skills, the things that you've developed over time that you're good at and you enjoy, your experiences, both professional and personal, your interests, the things you just like to do, and then your intuition, that call. And the final thing that I'll say, and this is so important for us women, is please, 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 look at your relationship with yourself and be kind to yourself. Women often have, people in general, but especially women, have often very toxic relationships with ourselves. If you talk to your friends like you talk to yourself, would you have any friends? That inner critic that we often use to motivate us is very depleting. Please look at, are you motivating yourself? Are you getting yourself to do things by being hard on yourself? And can you take some of what Simone said about really listening to that intuition and that intention and inspiration and use that as a way to pull you forward? Because part of the feminine is not about pushing. It's not about pushing ourselves forward by being hard on ourselves. It's about letting ourselves be pulled by a vision and speaking compassionately with ourselves along the way. So thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for having me. And I'm sending so much love to all of you.
Thank you so much, Christine. That was brilliant. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom as well. So next, I want to introduce Rachel, and Rachel goes by the pen name Aeolian Heart. Rachel holds degrees in cultural anthropology, literature, and humanities. After years of immersion in history, mythology, and art, Rachel discovered that astrology and tarot were profoundly useful symbolic and metaphoric frameworks through which she could develop rich therapeutic conversations with people. Through her website, Aeolian Heart, Rachel offers natal chart readings, tarot readings, and beautiful wisdom for those wishing to explore the messages of astrology in our lives. So welcome, Rachel. Oh, Rachel, I think you're on mute. There you go.
Thank you. So hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining this webinar. This is an amazing experience, and I'm also really enjoying the talks that I've heard so far. But today I wanted to share with you all a little bit about what I do as an astrologer and how I think that relates to getting in touch with the sacred feminine, and how I believe that's very healing on a profound level for anyone who relates to this knowledge. Obviously, when I first started studying astrology, it was for the same reasons that most people do. I wanted to learn more about myself. I wanted to find out what my potential was and who I was compatible with. things like that. And I certainly have learned a lot about those things, but astrology has opened up a lot more to me than just merely compatibility and potential. So what I want to do with astrology and what I do with my weekly columns and my clients is I use astrological knowledge alongside history and literature and philosophy to offer people a larger window to imagination that is meant to empower and inspire their spiritual growth by widening their understanding of their place in the cosmos. So it is my experience that when you know anything about your natal chart or the current astrological weather called transits, it tends to start putting you in touch with a much more ecological vision of reality. And ecological understanding shows us that everything is interconnected and interpenetrating. And so in this line of thinking, suddenly the individual is not separated out of nature, but becomes reacquainted with how many layers of interrelation there are between organisms. And in astrology, it acknowledges interrelation between human life and planetary motion. And it is mysterious, but it is acknowledged and observed. So astrology is inherently ecological, and therefore it redefines our sense of time. So I know that I used to entirely, and most people still do, live exclusively through linear time, which sees everything as one line of movement. Past is behind us, future is in front of us, and people are trying to live in the present moment that lives somewhere on that line in between past and future. But astrology starts to reveal that time is cyclical. And this cyclical view of time is very much in keeping with the message of the sacred feminine. Cyclical processes, cyclical understanding is feminine inherently. And so as one begins to get in touch with astrology, you begin to actually live in a different rhythm and a different flow of time. As Plato once said, this is a famous quote from Plato, he said that time is the moving image of eternity. And eternity itself cannot be depicted with a line. It's only ever represented through a circle and through a cycle. And so it is an astrologer's job to describe that moving image through careful observation of planetary motions and how they affect our evolution and our development in nuanced ways. So for me, and for many other contemporary astrologers, it is the job of a forecaster to express spiritual philosophy that provides insight into the sympathy and flow between all organisms. And, that has for me opened up a really, really profoundly healing way of life, where I feel like I'm gracefully dancing with time rather than being bludgeoned by it or, consumed by it, threatened by it. So to be in tune with astrological transits is, it's to feel the passage of time as a ceaseless becoming, so that constant knowledge of death and rebirth, that alchemical knowledge that was shared by Simone, that becomes much more relevant and relatable at all times. So right now, I believe that humanity needs to be reawakened to astrology more than ever before. This is not new. This is not a new paradigm. This is ancient wisdom. But it's very important that it become a more prevalent and conscious body of knowledge now, because it represents 5,000 years of human history, 5,000 years of observation. And its concepts and understandings contain a key to resolving a lot of the ideological problems that we have in the modern world. Most notably, of course, the scientific, dogmatic, materialist ideas about reality, which have created mass destruction and social unrest. That mentality divides the world into endless taxonomies, categories, hierarchies, and it never acknowledges interrelation or interdependence. But astrology requires that you acknowledge interrelation and interdependence. So if this knowledge was more pervasive, then the completely dogmatic, linear, and hierarchical mindset wouldn't be able to be completely dominant. So to put it simply, when human beings conceive of nature as being something outside of themselves, as something external, then this basic fact of ecology is forgotten, and we suffer pollution, destruction, and death. But I believe astrology offers a lot of relief from that, from the ignorance of ecological interdependence, cyclical time, and the sacred feminine, quite honestly. So astrology sees many threads of connection, large and small, between planetary motions and our lives on Earth. And it's really fascinating. It's really fun to be an astrologer, and it's really, really a passion of mine to share it. So when Christine was talking about what is it that you like to do, what are you passionate about? What I'm passionate about is writing astrology, studying it and writing it, sharing it with other people so that they can live their lives with more grace and with more comfort. Astrology considers the observation of the planets to contain an internal experience. So it's not in competition with astronomy in that you are observing planetary motions exclusively and as an external phenomenon. You are actually looking at the planets as a reflection of something that's going on inside. So inner space is a reflection of outer space. And they are braided together, interwoven, interpenetrating again. So this is why astrology was a branch of Hermetic alchemy. You probably are all familiar with the famous axiom, as above, so below, as within, so without. That's the basic premise of astrology. So yeah, it's a body of knowledge that I really think is important for everybody to become more acquainted with. And it has a lot of relevance when one starts to examine Eastern philosophies, Buddhist concepts that have not really put down the knowledge of interdependence and interrelation the way that the West has. So in this 21st century time when the globe is finally braiding together all concepts and all religions and all philosophies, it's just bound to happen that astrology, something that there is a Western tradition of but has been suppressed for a long time, it's bound to re-blossom and begin to change our consciousness in a really profound way. But one of my favorite metaphors to understand astrology does come from a Buddhist tradition, Mahayana Buddhism. Their metaphor for the nature of reality was represented by the image of Indra's net. Indra was a Vedic god, and they had an image that they would meditate on, where they saw Indra, this giant Vedic god, standing over the universe with a big jeweled net. And the myth details that at every intersection of the rope on Indra's net, there was a jewel. And every jewel reflected the myriad of other jewels. And the reflections then had reflections within reflections, and that would multiply on into infinity. And that was their meditative image to conceptualize how there is an omnipresent, energetic interrelatedness in the cosmos. So when people ask me, is astrology real? How does it work? That's the only answer I have. It's esoteric, but it works. So in short, the gift of astrology is that it enables us to see life as a cyclical process of evolving consciousness. It can offer us the means to relate in harmony with the planets themselves, starting, of course, with Mother Earth. Very important. It starts with our relationship to this planet, which is our perspective in the universe. And so astrology has the potential to harmonize our relationships to other life forms. And once again realized, when we realize ourselves as interconnected and interdependent, this knowledge is healing to all who are graced by it. So that's the really high level that astrology can take you to, in addition to being a really wonderful way to get to know yourself intimately and to see your unique placement as a servant of the universe. And so I do want to inspire people to study astrology and to learn more about themselves through this body of knowledge. in any way that suits them. And that is what I have to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Rachel. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing. And so next I want to introduce Taria. Taria Ward holds a PhD in depth psychology. She owned and operated a retreat center called Bridging Worlds in the mountains of Western North Carolina for many years, leading retreats, vision quests, and sweat lodges. Her passion is in reawakening the indigenous person inside each of us, the self who holds ancient earth wisdom. She now does private work with clients in her Asheville, North Carolina office, as well as by telephone, with dream analysis being a specialty focus. Welcome, Taria. So happy to have you here today. Oh, I think you might be on mute still.
Thank you.
Welcome, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Jocelyn. And thanks to all these women. I'm just so taken. I'm trying to get my own thoughts back because I've been on these journeys with you, and I really, really appreciate what I've learned and what you're doing, Jocelyn, bringing all this together. So beautiful. And welcome to everyone and all the hearts of all these women just beating together in this sacred space in this moment right now. It's a beautiful thing. So what I wanted to talk today about is vision questing and the dream time. And Vision Quest is an ancient ritual, ancient rite of passage that for all over all continents of the world has been revered and practiced. And I would like to bring the consciousness of vision questing into our daily life because we can bring it. I would love to have everyone who's listening find a way to do a vision quest, and I can give you some ideas about that if you want to get in touch with me after. But also to bring the idea of what it means to receive your vision. And sometimes we're constructing a vision and then we're making a very as Rachel was saying, linear kind of idea about how to manifest that vision, which is very helpful, but it takes us outside of the receiving end of the vision questing. And our dreams of the night are our nightly received visions, and those are always conducting some kind of guidance for us. And so if we learn the language of the dream and we learn the language of how to enter the dream time, which the Aborigines called the dream time, the place, it's like an ontological realm. It's not just something that happens in the mind like synapses in the brain. It's an actual realm that we enter, a dimension of our being, an ancient dimension of our being, where we can walk in and out of dimensions that are consistently present to us. So having the idea of what it means to quest for your vision and listen to the dreaming in the daytime, in the waking, in the sleeping, in the thinking, in the feeling, is the way to connect with that ancient part of ourself. And Carl Jung would talk about go into the night and connect to that 2 million-year-old person inside. And that is the person who has massive perspective. I loved what Rachel was saying about the 5,000-year information. And this is going even deeper and beyond that. There is a part of us that is part of our genetic makeup, our genetic imperative that has this more than ancient wisdom that is always speaking to us and always available. So I wanted to talk a little bit about just some of the vision quests that I've done so you get an idea of that sort of aspect of mind that I'm talking about. I would say the first vision quest, so I wasn't calling it that certainly, was when I was in high school. I was in a Catholic high school, and before we could graduate, they had each of us go to a monastery where we spent 24 hours in a tiny little cell with just our little bed, and we stayed in silence. We went to the cafeteria to eat, but we didn't speak and we didn't engage others. We stayed in silence for 24 hours. And I'm telling you, for a 17-year-old, busy with all the things that we're busy about, to have those 24 hours absolutely quiet, undemanding of anything but listening and being alone and quiet. I think that's set a course for me for the rest of my life. And I've done a variety of vision quests with a variety of different practitioners, shamans from Huichol, shamans from Africa, as well as some that I've designed myself. And both of those that I designed myself were 10-day vision quests where I went into the woods by myself for 10 full days, just listening and being. There is so much I can tell you about what I've learned that way, but it doesn't take time because we exit time when we do these things. So I like to just encourage you to find a sacred space, preferably in nature, but doesn't have to be, where you can create a sacred time for just being, just listening, allowing for the dream, allowing for the vision to arrive, and then bring that into your daily life. So here's an example. The first vision quest I did with a Native American woman, and this is the way I conduct vision quests as well. You go into your sacred space, and I teach how to do that. She taught us how to make your space. You go in at just before sunset, and then you sit through in your circle, very carefully constructed with prayers and drawing the lines of offerings around you. And then you stay there until just after sunrise. And I remember, I love the way she said, when the sun is about here, that's when you go into your circle. And when the sun is about there, that's when you come out of your circle. And so it was, like really orienting ourselves into this cosmos that we so often just are not as in touch with like that. So I went into my circle, and the sun set, and then the stars lit up in the night. Thank heaven, it was a beautiful starry night. And I sat there all night long, awake, fascinated, not bored for a second, not afraid for a second, just being there. And then the sun came up. And I'm telling you, there were so many things that happened, but during that night that I could talk about, but the one thing was just sunset. Over in this part of the sky, these constellations are there, and then you sit there for the night and you see those constellations move through the sky, knowing that this is the turning of the earth, and then the sun rises and you start your day. And there's something about the slowness of that vision that I go back to all the time that says everything is always in this circular motion, and it doesn't stop, and there's an order to the whole thing, an order to the whole universe. So I go back into that place of my very first vision quest, like every day at various times, every day, that whole message just imprints on me. And that's the thing about the vision questing, is it can be just one simple image like that is worth 1,000 books, and you could write 1,000 books about it. And that's what our nightly dreams are also giving us, these images that inform our deepest soul and guide us. I was watching the news the other day about the people in North Dakota and the issues that are happening there. And they were going on about oil and land rights and all the different things. And then they put this one Native American man there, and he said, it's about water. And I thought, that's the vision. That's all you need to know. It isn't about the oil and the land rights and the treaties and who did what to whom or anything. It's about water. And if we just recognize that as humans, all that water represents, what it means, what it needs, it's like that one simple thing. And that's what the visions and the dreaming it helps us simplify where our direction needs to be and what it needs to do. And I feel that those are the simple images that can direct our course and really teach us how to construct our priorities in the day and the night. I also wanted to share a time once when I was sitting in a restaurant and talking with my friends, and all of a sudden my mind just kind of went to another place, and I had a massive dream. I mean, it was as long as War and Peace. There were so many stories and intricacies to the stories and meanings and generations and events. And then I got the one through line through it that said the only path is the path to the center. And I saw how every one of these stories told me that the only path is the path to the center. Then I came back to the conversation and I hadn't even missed a beat. I'd only been gone for maybe less than a split second, yet I'd had this massive dream. So I think that's to recognize that we have access to this timelessness in time, and to recognize all that can be like delivered and downloaded when we acknowledge the dream time and the vision questing. I was reading last night Arkan Lushwala, this wonderful man who wrote a book called The Time of the Black Jaguar. And he was talking about the grandmothers, and this made me think of our seminar today, or our webinar. He was speaking about how the grandmothers were the ones in these ancient places that were like the center of the community, and their intelligence was so honored in the communities. And I'll just read this quote from him. He said, "From their heart to the most rounded wisdom and intuitive intelligence were always offered for the benefit of the people. In some places, it is still like that, but the loss of the deepest feminine presence in the modern world runs at the same rate as the loss of trees in the forest. Nowadays, it is more difficult for many women to trust their intuition. To trust in the achievements offered by modern education is easier, which is reducing the presence of feminine intelligence in the world's communities." So we do trust in our education and what we've learned and what our careers are and what the books tell us and so forth, but it's like getting in touch with that deep 2 million-year-old person that is going to help reconstruct the feminine presence within us. The reason I say reconstruct, I had a dream a couple nights ago where I saw this woman who was beautiful, gorgeous, like a goddess. And I saw these men come up to her and just dismember her. They took off her arms, they took off her legs, they took off her head, they just cut her into bits. And I watched this in the dream. And then later on, I saw that woman someplace like selling her wares, doing her crafts, like gorgeous again. And I realized she'd been remembered. So I thought it was the dismembering of the feminine and then the remembering of the feminine, which the dream told me. And also Arkan Lushwala says we have the capacity for forgetting and dismembering, but we also have the capacity for remembering. And that's what this dream told me. It can be remembered. It seems like a miracle, but it actually is the potential of the psyche to remember who we are as humans, that who we are question is so beautiful. So may we honor the grandmothers who sit about and watch and are present, and that grandmother ancient presence within us. And my respect to all you women who are listening and making this effort. The world needs it, us.
Thank you so much, Taria. I had chills throughout your talk. Thank you. And it's so true. And I want to really honor what's going on in this circle, this global circle of women that we've created by all being on this webinar together, because in the chat, it's so beautiful. People are lighting candles and burning sage and other herbs to join together our feminine power all around the globe and form webs of healing and connection. And so I want to encourage everyone that's listening, if you haven't already, to light a candle if you can, or burn sage, or whatever is meaningful to you, to join together with us, because we are creating a really powerful gathering here, and each of the women has added to it incrementally, and it's just beautiful, and I really, really want to honor that. So I want to next introduce Tanishka, and as I mentioned at the beginning, she'd have to get up in the middle of the night to join us, so we didn't make her do that. So she has provided a beautiful video, which I'll play in just a minute. Tanishka is the best-selling author of 5 books, and she has taught sacred women's wisdom and Kundalini awakening practices for 20 years. She offers programs to empower men and women to facilitate the ancient practices of sharing circles, and she has trained men and women in 41 countries in this important practice. She is best known as Facebook's Moon Woman, with over 500,000 followers of her daily guidance. And let me connect you with her. Okay, here is Tanishka.
You know, many of us are feeling it is now time to change the world. And whilst that is so exciting, it's also potentially stressful to try and balance, our own self-honoring and the needs of our families, so that we're not self-sacrificing ourselves or our families in our passion to create a difference, to create positive social change. So how do we do it? How do we do it in a way that is sustainable and is honoring of what we value? Well, we need to do it in alignment with the natural cycles. I'll explain what I mean. In the sacred feminine tradition, we look to Mother Nature as teacher. So if we want to create a divine life, a life that is balanced, a life where we feel fulfilled because we've found our purpose, our calling, and we are making a difference, then we need to align with the natural cycles. Then we can harness the ebb and flow. We can ride the currents, like a bird. You'll see what they do is they surf those thermal drifts and soar to conserve their energy. And we can do the same. For example, you wouldn't plant a seed in the middle of the snow and expect it to thrive. So when we understand the natural cycles and how we can grow and create intent with the natural cycles, we know exactly when to seed an idea, when to have a meeting, when to launch a project. We know when to do the research, the planning, the development. We know exactly when to share that idea, to promote it on social media. And we know when to harvest it and when to release it and analyze what worked, what didn't work, do that review process, all in alignment so that it's graceful. So the other thing that we do in sort of the feminine way is we work together, okay? Now, working together is something that, our mums teach us, you need to cooperate. And on Sesame Street, we had the same message. But then, we look around and we see a world where it's kind of, competition and comparison and dog eat dog, and we get caught up in that. And it really doesn't work for us, and it really doesn't work for women, okay? Because it just goes against everything that gives us a sense of strength. Women, we get our strength by coming together. If you meet up with a girlfriend, you'll probably walk away feeling, so much better. We process through talking. Similarly, we generate energy by coming together and firing off ideas, our intuitive insights that we've had, and we grow our wisdom. So if we want to create projects that are not just successful, but enjoyable, then we need to do it together, okay, rather than the old paradigm, which was coming from the wounded feminine and operating out of this, I've got to do everything on my own. If I don't do it, it won't get done. There won't be enough to go around if I share, this sort of, scarcity thinking. So a good process that you can try for yourself at home is run yourself a bath. Now, the reason I suggest that, if you don't have a bath or you don't like to bath, a foot bath is absolutely fine for this process, because water is the feminine element. when we immerse ourselves in this element, even partially, we soften. We become more receptive. And our subtle senses, which is our inner sensing, our inner knowing, our inner hearing, our inner feeling, that all becomes more attuned, more perceptive. So in a bath, it's why we get our best ideas in the shower. You know, we can ask questions of our own highest intelligence. For instance, we can close our eyes in the bath and we can say, who do I know that is really aligned with my values, my mission, my ideas? And then just wait to see who pops in, whether that's a visual, if you're more clear, what's the word? Yeah. Oh goodness, I'm thinking clairaudient. Anyway, some of us are more visual, some of us are more clairaudient, in other words, inner hearing, inner sensing. It's the most common one, clairvoyant, thank you. So, yeah, don't worry if you don't see somebody. You might get an inspired thought, someone will drop in, and just ask, how can we work together? Yeah, how can we, since we're on the same page, pull our energy, generate our energy to help each other? And this isn't just for building your mission. This might be for carpooling. Yeah, this might be bartering to get your needs met. So the way of the feminine is to weave together. Woven we are strong, all right? So, you know, we've got to give up whatever addiction we have to proving our worth by doing everything on our own, because ultimately it's no fun, life's a struggle, and we burn out. So yes, it is time to save the world, but we have to do it in a way that is cyclic and harnesses our energy through the power of community, and then we'll create something that is sublime and fruitful on every level, emotionally, mentally, energetically, socially, financially, you name it. Because it takes the whole, just like it takes, you know, like the African proverb, a whole village to raise a child. It creates, it takes community to birth any creative project. So if you're still doing things on your own, time to look around you and see, okay, how could I do this in a different way? Thank you.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So thank you, Tanishka, from afar. I know Tanishka is here with us in spirit. So I want to share next with the group. And I really, really want to share with you some of the principles that I have discovered through my own journey and that I use in my life coaching work to really help my clients take huge leaps forward toward the life of their dreams. And I encourage all of you listening to go ahead and find ways to implement these ideas in your own life too. So since I have had the incredible opportunity since beginning this life coaching work to connect with incredible people all around the world, I have discovered something that I guess is fundamental, but it's not something that we talk about a lot. People everywhere are so hungry for the truth and so hungry to connect with others who are like-minded and feel the same way. And so that's why it's so important for us to have conversations like we are with this one today, because many of these are not things that you can just easily talk about with your next door neighbor or the person that you sit beside at work or whatever it might be. We're so hungry to discover the truth. And we're hungry to discover our passion, our inner knowing, our highest calling. And as women in particular, we yearn to experience the full power and inspiration of our inner wild woman that Dr. Estes talks about. And the reason we're so hungry for this is because from the time that we're little children, we are surrounded by illusions and lies that are posed to us in the form of truths. So these beliefs get passed down from our parents, who certainly didn't intend to, but they were unconsciously reacting to painful things that happened in their life. And also we get these reinforced upon us by society with its rules and regulations and its norms. And these lies, which are often based in pure logic, which makes them appear to be very real, but you will find if you look deeper that they're completely lacking in spirit and interconnection with the true heart of life. So these lies tell us that we are not enough, or they tell us that resources are scarce, or that we are separate from each other, or they even tell us that there's nothing beyond this physical life. And so no wonder so many of us are feeling so lost and afraid. We feel like we're trapped. Either, we may be trapped in a job we don't like, or a difficult financial situation. We're trapped indoors most of the time, away from the beauty and the inspiration of nature. We're trapped in political and economic systems that don't work anymore. And we're told that we need to follow the rules and fit in and be normal, but these traps are not the truth. They are only illusions. And the sacred feminine that is deep within each of us, speaking through our intuition, calls for us to shed these lies and step fully into our own power, to overthrow those systems that are not working, and to take matters into our own capable and powerful hands. And so we need to listen to our intuition, because that will tell us where it's most important to take meaningful action. And we will gain knowledge that we need to understand in order to shift the entire paradigm within which we live, away from these false constructs and these illusions. So through doing this work and connecting with people all around the world, and through all of my research and studies, I came to realize that this was my mission: to help people break free from all that holds us back, to break free from these lies and illusions, and to help people step forward. And oftentimes it does mean confronting your shadow first, but then step forward into the fullest light and into your highest self. And so just as I had done in my own life through sheer willpower and through making that important choice that I would be okay no matter what it took, I was destined, and I am destined, to help people through the process of doing that for themselves in their own lives. And then in addition to that, I discovered something else that's truly amazing. And I think it's so important to share here in this context of the sacred feminine. There is something really incredible happening in the world right now. The more people that I talk to from all around the world, it is becoming so clear to me that Mother Earth is calling out to us. And I see this again and again. She is speaking to us through trees. She's speaking to us through animals. She's speaking to us through mountains, through unexpected opportunities that appear seemingly out of nowhere in our lives. She's speaking to us from the deep recesses of our own hearts. And so many of us now are hearing the calling. And I feel quite confident that so many of you, if not all of you on this call, are also hearing that call. And when the calling comes, whether it comes to men or to women, it always relates back to the sacred feminine. Now, the reason that I say this is because Mother Earth is calling out to us to become healers and teachers and light workers. In some cases, she's calling us to be shamanic practitioners. But all of these relate back to the core of what the sacred feminine is all about, which is healing and life at the center always. Excuse me. So she urges us to create communities, to raise the power of the feminine, to spread compassion and peace, and to create nurturing and love where it is missing. All of these are the sacred tasks of the feminine. And all of these were at the core of human existence in ancient times and up until, just a few centuries ago. Women were honored and revered in ancient times because we were capable of creating life. We were the most powerful healers, and we held the community through sacred ceremony, in protection and nurturing and understanding. And women were the center of every society long ago. But as human beings collectively decided to push away nature and embrace money, power, and technology, women were brushed aside as well. And so everyone on this call, this is so important. It is our time. It is our time to step back into the center of the circle. It is our time to claim our power and bring healing and peace and compassion back into the center of our communities. Money and power are not what life is all about, but that is what is ruling the world right now. Love, peace, nurturing, and healing one another are absolutely what life is all about, and that is what the sacred feminine brings to the table. And so now you understand the passion behind this life coaching work that I'm doing, and what I have found through working with my clients and what I find to be most helpful to them. So I want to go ahead and share with you something that's very important. Let me share my screen here again. Okay. So this is so, so, so important. Your passion is your mission. So your passion is, let me go back to that. Your passion is that calling that you feel. Your passion is when Mother Earth is speaking to you, or inspiration is speaking to you, or your intuition, whatever it is, that is your passion. If you, you know, as Christine talked about a little bit earlier, it may not be, you know, every little thing that you like or that you feel drawn to, but for example, on a global scale, if you see something on the news and it makes you so upset, it just either makes your blood boil or makes you get emotional, that could be a sign, you know, because that could be a cause that is really important to you and that you want to get involved in. Or if there's something that just always draws you to it, you know, like some people are drawn to, you know, ancient Egyptian wisdom, or some people are drawn like me to nature-based wisdom, whatever that is, just if your soul keeps calling you back to it again and again, that is your passion. And that's what you need to pay attention to, because that is a sign on your pathway telling you what your mission is. So here's the thing. Sometimes we get blocked from our passion. And this happens for a lot of different reasons. But how can we get unstuck? So I want to share, if you are feeling stuck, write yes in the chat. Good. I see one no. I see a whole lot of yeses. And yeah, I mean, it's the way of the world right now. A lot of us are feeling stuck and don't know how to move forward. And we know we're supposed to do something really, really important, but how to make it happen. So here is what I recommend. And I see a yes, I have no idea what to do. And yeah, so many people are feeling that way. So here are some steps to help you to move forward and to know and understand what you need to do. So step one is to clear your limiting beliefs. So I have listed on the screen here some limiting beliefs that are really pervasive and that so many people possess, and they're around self-worth, money, and I don't know enough, right? So for self-worth, you may think, who am I to create a movement? Or who am I to think that I can leave my 9-to-5 job and still support my family? Do I really have the energy to do this? You know, can I really pull it off? So then another one is money. You know, so many of us have these destructive money beliefs that are just, they were ingrained since we were little kids. You know, ideas like, I'm not good with money, I'm not good at manifesting, other people have all the money, I don't get the money, other people have it. And then down in the bottom category here, I don't know enough. You know, you may feel, I need to learn more, I need to study more before I can get started, I'm too young, or I'm too old, and who's going to listen to me? So very important for you to know, these are lies, these are fears, they're not real, they're illusions. Don't listen to them. So how do you do that, right? So what I recommend for my clients, and this is very important foundational work. Whenever I work with any of my clients, this is the very, very first thing that we do, because clearing these limiting beliefs and replacing them with positive truths opens you up to embrace new pathways and to just clear the way for amazing synchronicities and opportunities to come into your life. So this is a really big one that kind of hits us hard a lot of times as a little kid, you know. So when you were a little kid, do you remember when you were first told that you can't fly? You know, because I know I have little kids and they see the birds and they say, oh, I'm going to go fly with those birds. And they truly believe that they can. But somebody at some point is going to come along and say, no, you can't fly. You can't fly. So here's the thing. We can all fly. You can fly in your life by setting the highest expectations and then going out and exceeding them and just amazing yourself and amazing everyone around you. You can do that. You can. Here's another truth. It's that we do need to feel all of our feelings, because we're told, and there's been discussion in the chat about masculine is are we saying masculine is bad? Absolutely not. But there's a negative side to the sacred feminine. There's a negative side to the masculine as well. One of the negative sides to the masculine is to not feel your feelings, to just get over it, move on, don't be emotional. So that's not true. The truth is we do need to feel all of our feelings. We do need to fully experience them, because they are signposts on the way to help us understand what we really need to be fulfilled and happy. Okay, so that's a very important truth to embrace. Here's another truth that I want to share with you. You are enough. So when that self-doubt starts creeping in and your self-worth, is called into question, the truth is that you are enough, and you have everything within you that you need to live your passion, to bring healing and insights to the world, and to do everything that you are meant to fulfill your highest purpose. So yeah, definitely, if you feel inspired to, go back to school, but don't wait to get started on your vision until you graduate. Get started now, and then work on school in the meantime too, because you already have everything you need. And you have special talents that were already especially designed to fulfill your highest purpose. Okay, so then one more truth I want to share with you is that you really can attract the financial resources that you need. People all around the planet are already doing it every day, and you are not any different from them. Don't believe that you are any different. You can fully accept and embody the essential truth that the universe wants you to achieve your vision, and that you will be supported and guided every step of the way. So I encourage you to really, really embrace that truth as well. And then step 3 in all this. So step 1 was to identify your limiting beliefs. Step 2 was to replace them with positive truths. And step 3 is to take action. So this is so important. Just take one step toward your goals. Even if it's a baby steps are good because they're not as intimidating and you'll really do them, right? So break things down into small steps and take one step at a time. Now, here's what we run into at this step, especially as women, is that we start to feel like we're being selfish, right? Do you ever feel like it's selfish to pursue your dream? Like, it's not logical, or it's not concrete enough. How can I take time away from my responsibilities to spend, 2 hours a day working on building my vision? Or how could I even consider going part-time at my, day job in order to build this new business that I want to? How could I take that away from my family or away from my responsibilities? So here's the thing. You have been gifted this longing to pursue your dream. You have these feelings for a reason. This is your life's purpose. And I think it is so important to know that you have a sacred responsibility to answer this call. Because if you don't answer this call, you're not going to bring that healing to the world that you were meant to, that you were born to bring. And if you don't fulfill that responsibility, then you're going to go the rest of your life without knowing what it's like to have that fulfillment, to be doing your highest task. So this is not selfishness. This is your highest destiny, and this is how you are called to be in service to others. And in fact, it is your inner wild woman talking to you. It is your inner sacred feminine knowing. And it's telling you, it's giving the message of exactly what you need to do to create change. So I want you to type, if you promise, and I want everybody to commit to this, if you promise to take one step, and it can be a little tiny step, but take one step toward your dreams within 24 hours after this call ends. If you agree to that, please type "I promise" in the chat box. Yay, I see lots of "I promises" popping up. Awesome, awesome. Awesome, awesome. So really do it. Really go out and do it, because your dreams are worth it and you are worth it. It is so important for each of us to contribute and to do this work. Yay, yay, lots of "I promises." Awesome. So I want to bring you back to the idea of, why did you show up for this call? And to reiterate again that you are here for a reason. There are no accidents. So maybe you feel your sacred feminine power, but you need guidance on determining where to channel that energy. Or maybe you are longing to feel your inner wild woman, to feel that fire so you can be sure that you're on the right path. And many people are saying, I'm already taking those steps. That's fantastic. Really, really fantastic. Or maybe you're here because you want to live a life that really matters, where you are having a larger impact, and you are changing the world in some way. And then, maybe you're here because you know this, and yet you feel that there is just too little time to focus on your dreams. There's too much to do, and responsibilities get in the way. And then what's really most important to our heart and soul ends up lower on the priority list and ends up falling through the cracks. That happens to so many of us. And maybe you're here because you know that you are capable of fulfilling your sacred responsibility to heal, teach, or provide wisdom, but you just can't see how you can possibly find the time, money, energy, inspiration, all of that it takes to really make it happen. So what can you do to find the answers? Okay. So the clear answer is to follow your path, but that can be confusing, right? So there are a lot of ways to do this. You can look for signs and symbols along the way, and so many people gain these insights from their power animals or from different occurrences that they see throughout their life that kind of point them. And I know that's something that was very, very powerful for me in my life, is seeing signs and symbols that help me know where to go. Another way is to use your daily spiritual practice to ask the important questions and gain the insights that you need. Or you can have patience and wait for the path to open up for you, and it will happen as it's meant to, and it may take a while. And so these are the ways that we normally do in our day-to-day lives. And there's nothing wrong with these ways. And for some people, these may be the best. But what I want to offer to you here is that there is a way to supercharge these. If you want to experience all of these in a beautiful sacred space with a group of women, including the presenters that are here today, I want to introduce to you the Women with a Vision 2017 Mastermind Retreat. And this is an opportunity for you to get away from it all for 4 days and immerse yourself in positive energy with women like the ones on this call, as attendees who are, like-minded and who are in the same place that you are and feeling the same way and wanting to bring the same change to the world, as well as with these beautiful women who are presenting today. Gather together with us, relax, and just let yourself work on redesigning your life to do what you love. So I want to tell you about what's included in the retreat. We have engaging, personalized experiential workshops. There is a separate workshop offered by each of the presenters that you have seen here on this webinar. The workshops vary between 1.5 to 3 hours, so they are very, very involved. Very involving components that are customized to each attendee. So you are really guaranteed to get a lot out of them. There's also a chance for you to meet personally with any of the workshop leaders, because in the mornings and the evenings, they're not just going to fly in for their workshop and then fly out that afternoon. They're going to be there for all of you and for all of us in the mornings, in the evenings, in the downtime. So this is a great opportunity to connect personally with these amazing women. We will have a half-day mastermind, which is a fully interactive session in which the panel of 6 expert speakers will be there to answer personal or business questions from anyone who's attending who wants to ask. And you will emerge with an actionable step-by-step roadmap for launching your dreams to the world in a big way. And here's more of what you will get out of it. As you can imagine, you will be surrounding yourself with universal wisdom and positive energy in community with like-minded, visionary, and change-making women. You will form new friendships and business partnerships that could last a lifetime. And just picture yourself dancing around a bonfire in the ancient forest of the Great Smoky Mountains. This is such a powerful place. This is where the Cherokee people have lived for thousands of years. This is where Taria was talking about that she has, led retreats and done really deep spiritual practices there. It is a beautiful and very spiritually powerful place. There will be special bonuses and surprises that we're planning that won't be revealed until you arrive. And, it gives you the chance to open up your heart and share your wildest dreams with others who truly understand you and who are aligned with your optimistic view of the world and want to take action in the same way that you do. So here is what our presenters will be doing for their workshops. So Tanishka will be doing a workshop on activating the power of the sacred feminine to create the life of your dreams. Simone will be doing a workshop on visioneering, creating the future from the inside out. And all of these will be very experiential, where you'll get a chance to really participate and be involved and just come up with amazing insights of your own. Taria will be offering an experiential outdoor activity around vision questing and the dream time. I'm very excited about that one. Rachel will be offering a workshop on astrology and tarot to discover our mission and divine purpose. All of these will be absolutely amazing. And Christine will be offering a workshop on creating a heart-based business by tapping into your secret sauce. Now, one feature that is just going to be really, really amazing and different than anything else that you've experienced is that we're going to have a half-day mastermind panel session. So all of the attendees who are there, all of the women participating, will have a chance to ask all of these speakers your business and personal questions for expert guidance. So not only will you get to pose your own individual questions that, for whatever is most important to you, but you'll also learn from the questions and answers of the other women. So I think this is going to be just such a powerful panel discussion. And then on the last day of the retreat, I'm going to lead you in a dynamic visioning exercise that will bring everything together. All of the wisdom that you've gained all throughout this event and just really, really bring it all together for you in amazing ways that will be life-changing and inspiring. And then we're going to do an exercise in which each attendee will create her own customized step-by-step action plan for building the life of her dreams. So those steps that I talked about, it's good to have little steps, little small doable steps. We're going to create that for each of you, and this will be based on each person's individual and amazing experiences at the retreat. So this will be all on the last day to wrap everything up, and then you will leave there with a plan for exactly how you're going to roll out your dreams. Now, we can only accommodate 30 attendees, as you can imagine. We wanted to keep this small and intimate so that everyone can interact with speakers and receive very personalized attention, and so that we can make it experiential for everybody. So it needs to be relatively small. Space is very limited, so it's important to act quickly so that you can claim your seat. So if you already know that you want to attend, please go to this URL right away, and you can submit your application and a deposit. But before you do that, don't leave this window, keep this window open for the webinar, because I don't want you to miss out on the bonuses. So keep this window open. If you do want to open that URL, go ahead and open it up in a separate tab, and you can go ahead and start the application process and keep listening in. Okay, so as far as pricing, which I'm sure you've been waiting to hear, we have special pricing that will be good for the next week following this webinar. So the pay in full price is $3,400, or the installment plan is $4,000. So that's 5 payments of $800 each. This is just such an incredible value for what you're getting. I will show you on the next slide. And this is a special one-time offer. This price will increase after November 18th, so don't miss your chance to book at the lowest price. So I want to show you the total value of what you're getting here. It's really incredible. So we will be staying at the Cayuga Retreat Center, which is in Hendersonville, North Carolina, very, very close to the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. So your food and lodging will all be included in your, total price of the retreat. So that's 3 days and 4 nights at Cayuga. That is just about $500. All of the speaker workshops and the mastermind session to bring these incredible, brilliant minds together all in one place, that would be over $7,000 per attendee alone. And so it is just, it's incredible that we're bringing this all together. And so then the bonuses, we have 3 fast action bonuses if you apply within the next 24 hours. And some of them have a limit on, only the first 5 or only the first 10. I'll give you details on that. But those first 3 bonuses are worth $795. And then we have 4 more bonuses that are totaling $567. So all of that added together is over $8,800. And then that doesn't even include the additional surprise gifts and life-changing experiences and the bonuses once you arrive there, which I have put down here as priceless, which I truly believe. And then also the sense of clarity and direction and the new friends who share your vision that you will, experience and gain from attending are just priceless. So, sorry about that. So the total value, monetary value is over $8,800. And we are offering this for the early bird price of only $3,400 if you pay in full, or $4,000 if you choose the convenient installment plan. And I'm going to open this up to Q&A in just a little bit. So if you have any questions, please hold on to those. We will be more than happy to answer. But I want to give you a little more detailed information first on how to sign up. So as I said, we can only accept the first 30 qualified applicants. When you go to the URL, which I've listed again on this slide here, there are 3 easy steps. So when you go to that URL, you want to click the button that says Apply Now. You're going to complete the application and then submit a $500 deposit. And that deposit, of course, will be credited toward your full payment if you do choose to attend and once you're accepted. And there's no risk. And if you're not accepted, the deposit will be refunded to you. So there's absolutely no risk here with making that $500 deposit. So there's the URL again. If you want to attend, I encourage you to go here right now and submit your deposit and application right away. And then what happens next? Once you apply, we will contact you within 7 days with one of the following messages. So it will either be you're in, yay, choose your payment option, and you will be fully signed up, or we may need more info. So if that's the case, I'll just ask you to set up a 15-minute interview with me, and I'll give you information on how to do that. So there's the URL again if you need it. I do want to give you our refund policy. So if you change your mind on or before November 30th, you will get 100% of your money back. So I want to reassure you about that. You do have a little bit more time to think about the decision, even if you apply and register and something comes up. So from there on, you can imagine, we have to reserve the space, we have to reserve the speaker's time. So the refund does, it goes down by percentages from there on out. And there will be no refund if you cancel on April 1st of 2017 or later. The dates, I just realized, I'm not sure if I told you the dates for the event. It is May 5th through the 8th of 2017. I apologize if I didn't mention that earlier. It is a Friday through a Monday. So it will be from lunch on Friday through lunch on Monday. And that is May 5th through 8th, 2017. Okay. So once you apply, the bonuses are yours, and I'm going to tell you next about this bonus info that you've probably been waiting to hear. So the fast action bonuses are the first 3. And even if you don't apply for the retreat, just for attending the webinar, you can claim bonuses 6 and 7. So hang on so that you can see those and claim them even if you're not going to go to the retreat. Okay, so bonus 1, this is a fast action bonus. You must submit your retreat application within 24 hours from now to claim this bonus. And this is for the first 5 qualified applicants only. Now I am offering this has a huge value And this is to help you prepare for your time at the retreat so you can get the absolute most out of it. So I'm offering 3 fully customized 1-hour life coaching sessions with me. That is a $700 value, and I'm offering it for free to the first 5 qualified applicants. So these sessions are especially designed to give you a huge head start toward your goals even before the retreat begins, so that you can just jump right into the retreat time with already a head start and ready to take your vision up to the next level. Okay, bonus number 2 is also for the first 5 qualified applicants only, and you do need to apply within 24 hours for this as well. Tanishka is offering her Self-Love Goddess Style 21-day online program. This has actually not been released yet. She is developing it right now, and it will be released in December 2016. So you will be one of the first to experience this. And this program helps you to develop self-loving choices, thoughts, words, and behaviors to guide you on your way. Really, really incredible. And then here is the 3rd fast action bonus, and this is thanks to Tarja. This is for the first 10 qualified applicants only, and you do need to apply within 24 hours to claim this. So Tarja is offering a free 30-minute dream work session, and I can tell you from experience that her dream work sessions are absolutely incredible in the signs and symbols and meaning that she finds behind what you're experiencing in your dreams and even in your waking life. Really, really incredible. So that is a huge value. Okay, so as far as the other bonuses, so all qualified retreat applicants who submit their application within 1 week from today can claim this bonus, and this is brought to us by Simone. This is Simone's Evolutionary Intuition audio program. This is a $297 value. She's offering it for free for all qualified retreat applicants. This program includes the best of all of Simone's intuition trainings, including the ones from her book, First Intelligence. And it is delivered in a convenient audio program and walks you through the steps of generating, directing, and following your intuition to support you in all areas of your life. So really amazing. And Simone's book, First Intelligence, really, really is just so inspiring and really changed my life in big ways. So I encourage you all to read her book and also to sign up so you can get this amazing bonus. So bonus 5 is also for all qualified retreat applicants. This is Aeolian Heart's Heartbeat. It is a 7-day course on how to navigate your natal chart. And this is truly incredible too, and will give you amazing insights into your life and your mission. Now, so these last 2 bonuses are for everyone who is attending the webinar. So if you're on the webinar and you are not able to go to the retreat, you still get this gift. So Christine's CD, and this is Christine Hassler's CD, Meditation RX, Guided Meditations to Treat Your Mind and Heart. So you can go and digitally download this from the URL that you see here. If you are applying for the retreat, you don't need to go to that URL. You will get this gift automatically, so you don't have to worry about doing that. And then the final bonus, which is also for all webinar attendees, you get your choice of one of the following. So either a free 30-minute discovery session with me, or an e-guide that I created, which is called Why We Must Dance. And it is really beautiful. It will help you learn about the scientific, physical, emotional, and ancient reasons why dancing is so important for human beings. So let me see. Let me put the links in the chat real quick because we're getting some questions on that. Okay. So everybody can click on them. All right, so link to apply. It's here. And then I will add the link to Christine Hassler's free gift. Sorry, everybody, for the pause while I type this up. And the link to you can choose one of 2 free gifts from me, either the 30-minute session or the Why We Must Dance e-guide. Okay, so all of the links are there in the chat so that you can easily just click on them and navigate over to them. Okay, so I want to go ahead and open it up for any Q&A. There are two ways to do the Q&A if you want to submit a question. There is a Q&A box that you can access that it says Q&A. It should be around if you mouse over the screen or near the bottom of your screen. And then also there is the chat. So either way that you would like to ask a question, please do go right ahead. And let's see here. We have something in the Q&A. Okay, yes, so people are asking about replays. Yes, absolutely. We are recording this full session and there will be a replay sent out most likely tomorrow. As long as everything is in good shape and ready to go, I will send it out tomorrow. So yes, absolutely, that will be done. So let's see here. Let me stop my share. Okay, so if there are any questions about anything at all, you can definitely go ahead and type them. Okay, and we have questions. So, okay, so the same thing about the replay. So yes, definitely we will send the replay out. That will not be a problem. Everybody that's registered will get the replay. Okay, there's a question for Taria. Taria, would you like to answer this one? So Sally is asking, Taria, how do we best access the dream time? Set intentions before sleep? Question mark, and how can we remember dreams regularly?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked this question. And I've been thinking, I wished I'd addressed it more. So thank you for the opportunity to address it. What I recommend for remembering your dreams is put a little pad and paper right next to your bed every night when you go to sleep. And when you look at that pad and paper, make an intention as you go into the dreaming to remember your dreams. And often in the night, I will, without even opening my eyes hardly, just jot down a few little images that came to me in the dreaming. And then in the morning, just so I can pull it back in the morning. And then in the morning, as soon as you can, even before you get up, retell the dream in your mind. And then as soon as you can, after you get up, write down the narrative. And there's something about the action of writing down the narrative of the dream that helps all those images and symbols start to download, and you begin to understand their meaning and what they're connected to in your waking life right then. And Freud would say that every dream is addressing something that has been triggered in the 24, 48 hours before the dream. So see how those symbols might apply, or the dilemmas might apply. And they're always telling you something you need to know, but you don't know consciously yet. That's what the Jungian thought is on that. It's just like, it's so beautifully designed for exactly what you need to know. So I would say start writing down your dreams, but then in the daytime, you know how it is when you're driving or you're walking down the street or your mind is a little bit loosened. There are these thoughts that just go across your mind like a dream flash. Grab them. Just, we so easily just move into the next thing or the next conversation or the practical next step and lose those images or visions or insights or inspirations that come like dreams. And that will help you just loosen the boundary between your waking consciousness and the dream time consciousness. So listen to your dreams and work the images and symbols and realize they are symbolic. They're not literal. If there's a death in the dream, it's the dying of a relationship or a thought or an attitude. It's not the person. It's whatever that person might represent inside of you. So don't take your dreams literally. That's dangerous. But take them symbolically and understand that, that they have an important message for you. So many blessings in the dreaming, and I'm available to be, write to me, find my website and write to me if you have other questions. You're not muted. I mean, unmute.
Thank you. Somebody asked, any tips if I don't consciously remember or I'm not aware of my nighttime dreams? That's what happens to me too. I've shared with you. Um,
I think the remembering the dreams is like building a muscle. It's like going to the gym. So even the slightest thing that comes in the night, maybe it's just an energy or a emotion or even a thought you wake up with, whatever you can do to just strengthen it bit by bit, to bring in the dreaming. But then also to recognize that in your waking life, the dreaming mind is always active. I mean, we are always dreaming. So if you don't remember your dreams of the night, get your dreaming as it comes to you in the day, as I was describing. It's a whole dimension of our being that is outside of time, but it's loaded with information and connection to the the non-human world, as well as the invisible realm, the ancestors. All of those are connected in the dream time and are always trying to give us their wisdom and their perspectives. So
Thank you. Thank you, Taria.
mm-hmm.
There is a question for Rachel. Rachel, would you be able to answer a Q&A?
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay. An anonymous viewer is asking, Rachel, can you recommend any online astrology courses?
Yes, absolutely. Actually, I'll recommend one that I took that was really instrumental in helping me to adjust my study and make it very serious. Nightlight Astrology. It's run by an astrologer named Adam Ellenboss, and it's, Nightlight is spelled correctly. So Nightlight Astrology, he offers 6-month immersion courses, year-long courses. He teaches horary astrology now, and he's really excellent. It was a really good experience for me. It's a really nice introduction to all of the key concepts, and he has a nice view of history and foundational texts, as well as very modern psychological viewpoints. So I think he's a very well-rounded instructor, and I do recommend his classes.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much, Rachel.
Sure.
Let's see. Okay, another question is saying, will the replay be shareable with non-registered people? Yes, absolutely. I say that I'll send it to registered people because that's the only way I have access to your email, is if you registered for this course, then I know you're interested, or for this webinar. But yeah, you can share it with whoever you want, definitely. And yeah, I encourage you to share it. We need to spread this wisdom. Let's see, one new message over here. Oh, okay, I guess Joanne, that anonymous one was from Joanne. She's saying she didn't mean it to be anonymous. Okay, so let's see. Okay, Jonas is asking, how should I create a sacred place at sunset? I don't know if anybody wants to answer that, but that's kind of, I don't know, that's a little bit outside of, we didn't have anybody specifically talking about sacred ceremonies, so I'm not sure if anybody wants to take that one. How should I create a sacred place at sunset? It's a circle where I sit and stay all night long. Do you have a special ritual?
Oh, that would be maybe the vision questing idea. Is that
maybe? Yeah, it does seem related. Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like Jonas is maybe asking about staying out all night.
Mm-hmm.
For a vision quest, it's important when you do a vision quest like this to psychologically and spiritually prepare for it. Sometimes people do some fasting before, and always to have somebody who is watching over and with you, like a guide or a friend or a mentor, or someone who is aware of you in that space and is holding space with you. And so it's not something to just sort of go out on our own and do. It's something that where there's somebody actually being present to you and holding the space with you, so you don't feel alone in that space. That's always been a very important part of the vision questing. But even what the first part of just going out at sunset, now that's something certainly we can do by ourselves, or going out just for anywhere from 10 minutes to 2 hours to just like create a sacred circle, sit in it, wait for what arrives. And trust whatever it is that arrives. Whatever comes, that's your vision. You're not going to walk away without a vision. You just have to understand that it's happened, and then how to open the gift.
Okay, wonderful. And somebody, Taria, this would be another one for you. Victoria is asking, when going into a vision quest, do you recommend any specific tools to be taken into the space with you?
There are specific rituals. You know, some, and it's, you know, it can be very individual. Some say don't even bring a journal. I always bring a journal, so just how I am. But when you set your space, generally you'll take some rocks from the area and put a rock in the north, in the south, in the east, and the west, and call in the 4 directions, and then call in the next 3 directions, which is earth and sky and all our relations. So you have 7 rocks. And then you close the circle with cornmeal, tobacco, sage, sprinkled around, and that is to protect, and you call in the invisible protectors to be with you, and that creates an energy around you. And and as I said, have somebody outside your circle aware of you in that circle so that you can ground your consciousness in the otherness of being watched over. But the circle is sacred and powerful. And if you have to go out to go to the restroom or anything, I always say make a gate. Just like take a stick that's a gate there. Open the gate, go out, close the gate when you come back in, so you really see the invisible space there. I had animals that would come in my vision quest, sit right next to the circle and not enter the circle because they sensed the energetic power of that. It was amazing. So yeah, I hope that's helpful.
Thank you, Taria. Okay, I think we've gotten to all the questions. Okay, somebody's asking if the links of today's presenters' sites are available. So yes, I will send that out to everyone who's a registered attendee. I will send the links to everybody's site so that you can look and see more of their amazing work. Let's see. Okay, so I think if nobody has any more questions, we're going to close the webinar. So if you have anything else, please write it to me right now. We're getting lots of thank yous, and thank you for connecting. So wonderful messages from everybody. Thank you. Thank you to everyone out there for attending. This has been a lot of fun, and I'm so glad that we're able to connect in this amazing way and form this circle of healing, and kind of a global women's circle. You know, it's just really, really beautiful. So, okay, more and more thank yous. And I want to thank all of the panelists, all of the presenters here. You are all amazing. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom. I look forward to seeing you all at the retreat, and I hope that we will see lots and lots of the participants at the retreat too. It's going to be really amazing.
Thank you, Jocelyn.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you all. We're going to sign off now. Thank you so much, everybody.